All right, so let's call this meeting to order. It's February 17, 2022. My name is Willie Frank III, Chairman of the Nisqually Indian Tribe. Honored to be here today with our tribal council, and sitting next to me the new Mayor of Yelm and the City Council of Yelm. But before we get started here, I'd like to have our Vice Chairwoman start us off in a good way and say a prayer here.
Oh, sister. Thank you, Lord.
And, as I said, I'm very honored to be here today. This is the first. I'm honored to sit here with the Yelm City Council and the staff from Yelm. I think all of us have known that there's been a stressful relationship, I guess you could say, over the years, and it's. I'm really glad that you guys are here on our homeland, coming to meet, and I think I'll turn it over to Joe, and you can do introductions, and we'll just kind of go all the way around the room here. So.
Sure. Thank you, Chair Frank, and the honor is all ours to be here. So thank you so much for allowing us to be here, inviting us on your land, and having this joint meeting. We're the ones that are honored, so thank you so much. As I said, I'm Joe DePeno. I'm the new Mayor of Yelm, and we'll just go ahead and go down the line, do introductions. Go ahead and introduce yourself, your position.
Yeah, I'm City Council Member Joseph Richardson, position number 2, and again, I appreciate us being here today. And I know we talk about shopping local, but I get my gas here.
I'm Councilman Joshua Crossman. I am position number 3.
Councilwoman Holly Smith, position 4.
Councilmember Brian Hess, position 5.
Councilperson Lynn Roy, position 6.
Terry Kaminsky, position 7.
Todd Stansel, Police Chief and current Acting City Administrator.
Rob Carlson, Assistant Chief. Cody Colt, Public Services Director.
Back, oh, yeah, in the back.
I'm Aaron Green, I'm the Network Administrator.
I'm Jason Hardy, I'm the IT Manager.
Debbie President, Information Officer, Nisqually.
Sonia Ramirez, the Yale Municipal Court Administrator.
Stephanie Dice, the Finance Director.
Kathy Linnemeyer, City Clerk.
Lori Lucas, Administrative Services Director.
Summer Sanchez, Tribal Council Staff.
Justine Capra, Tribal Council Staff.
Good afternoon. Oh, right there? Okay.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you all to the table and say that we're very thankful that you're here. This is actually probably a historical meeting that we're having between the City of Yelm and the Nisqually Indian Tribe. And so I raise my hands to all of you and thank you all for being here. My name is Antoinette Squally. I'm the Vice Chairman.
Hello, everybody. I'm David Isle, the Treasurer.
Twagalabusi Abdeishit, Yais de Blusitsta, to all Chisqually Absh. Good evening, or good afternoon, I guess. My name is Shay Squally, 5th Council Member, and, I am very happy that each and every one of you are here today and that we can get this meeting going. Good afternoon, Leanna Scott, 7th Council. I am appreciative of this because I think that we live so close together that this should just be a part of our regular routine. So I'm really glad to see this happening.
Good evening, I'm Brian Wharton. I'm the Superintendent for Yelm Community Schools. Very honored to be here.
I just want to throw it out there that I think Leanna's a Yelmite too, right?
No.
I went to Yelm School, but I don't live in Yelm.
No, but we went to Yelm. We went to Yelm School. That makes you Yelmite.
No, we have a competition going for anybody who doesn't know about North Thurston and Yelm. So there's a few of us that went to Thurston and a few that went to Yelm. And I definitely
we stayed local.
I definitely want to acknowledge our 6th Councilman, Hanford McLeod, who's out. He just had a surgery and he's in the healing process. So we know he'd be here. We know that the relationship is important to him as well as everybody here at Nisqually. And before we get started, I want to acknowledge J.W. Foster and thank him for the time he served, and we had a great relationship. And he started the relationship, having lunches, starting the discussion. Then COVID hit. We had some plans to work together on a few projects, and hopefully we can just continue that. And I don't know if I introduced myself actually, but I'm Willie Frank, chairman of the Nisqually Indian tribe. My Indian name is Kwalashkit. I'll turn it over to you, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also want to acknowledge the staff that have made this possible. Our IT staff over here, they've been wonderful setting all this stuff up for so the viewers can see it from the comfort of their homes. And as well as Justine, thank you for all your work coordinating with our staff. You did a wonderful job, and our staff is very appreciative, so thank you on that. So with that, let's just go ahead and get started with infrastructure and small works partnerships. Just to kind of give some background, the city of Yelm we go off what's called a small public works roster. And for contracts $50,000 and under, we can go ahead and award that without going through an open bidding process. And Cody, if I'm saying anything out of turn, please let me know. And he'll talk more about it in depth, but basically, when we get, actually, Cody, do you just want to go into some of the projects that we were thinking that we could partner with and what that looks like?
Yeah, so I can go through a couple of the stuff that we do. So MRSC, we're small works roster, like Mayor DePino said, was a small works roster for projects $50,000 or less. A lot of the things we tap into for this are like street repairs, maybe small infrastructure packages like water line upgrades, sidewalk upgrades, installation of antennas or other things, just small things that could be done. Right now we go outside for these things. We use that small works roster and pull places that are local, but they are outside, and the tribe could definitely be one of those that we could tap into if you guys were on the small works roster or your construction group was. So it's something we would look forward to, and having a closer entity to tap into for those work projects, especially emergency work repairs is something we often have to reach out to people in Tacoma or farther because they're the only ones that are 24-hour service. So if we had the ability to reach out, it would be great on those kind of things.
So what are your thoughts on making that a possibility, a reality?
I definitely think that's a great idea. We do have a great construction company here. I don't see what would stop us from getting on that roster.
Great.
Yeah.
Well then, can we have Cody reach out to your folks and help you out in the process to get on the small works roster and start using it?
I think that'd be great. Maybe Cody, you could email me.
Yeah. Please email the treasurer and
we'll get you in touch with the right people and we'll get it going.
Yeah, and I have your contact info, so I'll send an email your way.
Perfect.
Great. And then there's some bigger infrastructure projects, longer term, that we've kind of been discussing. Cody, you just want to get into that as well?
Cody, just take it over. We've talked to Cody a number of times.
I'll just move up here.
You want to move up here, Cody?
I'll just slide over on this side and work with you guys a little bit. So one of the things that we had talked about, we mentioned, we've met several times already, which it's been great meeting with all of you. The biggest thing is our water line. We're looking at our water system upgrade package right now. And in that requires we're a satellite system, as yourself are, which means that if our system fails, there's no way we can get water or any other infrastructure, right? We have to either truck in water or do something similar. So the idea behind that is connecting to another system that has its own capacity. The tribe is a great resource because you guys are so close. We can provide water to you and vice versa. In an emergency, you can provide water to us. We also have the capacity with our new water rights coming in and our new well that's online to supply water to your entire group up here, the casino, everything, because of how much water we can pump out of that southwest well up until probably 2045. So it might be a good partnership to be able to provide you guys with water. If you were looking at upgrading your water infrastructure already, instead of going down that path, we can create a line that would meet halfway and connect to each other, and we could just meter water into tribal lands at that rate, and you guys could have a water supply that's secure and you know that's gonna last for a long time. And then we'd have backup for each other in case of emergency, earthquake or whatever that broke one of our wells. We could then provide water as backup to each other as well.
I'm gonna tell you the same thing, just email Treasurer IL and we'll, we can have that discussion. I think it'd be good to talk about that.
I think that definitely need more discussion on that one. We'll get with our public works people as well and our planning department. We can go over that.
And I think it's best to plan for any emergency situation that may happen. As Leanna said, we're part of Yelm. Yelm's part of Nisqually. I mean, we connect here with this road, so we're not going anywhere, and you guys aren't going anywhere. So, partnerships working together is going to be important.
All right, is there any questions from the council or either council on any of those? All right, we'll keep on moving on then. Local organization partnerships. So we discussed different, do you want to go into this one more?
You go for it.
So there's a lot of different types of organizations in Yelm, nonprofits, that we both could benefit from. One that comes to mind is a YMCA, something that we've kind of discussed for many years now. Conversations that I've had with the YMCA, with their their South Sound YMCA's president and CEO, Kyle Cronk, is the discussion of a YMCA that would serve all of this community, not just Yelm, but surrounding Yelm, and also reaching out to parts of Lacey as well. So that's something that is important for them, that they have as large of a reach as they can. And so there's discussions that they would like partnerships with the Nisqually tribe as well as the city of Yelm to move forward with having these discussions again. They were brought up probably about 5 years ago or so, 6 years ago, and kind of dwindled, but we're restarting those conversations again. I'm meeting with our board this next week, and if possible, see if Willie would be able, or Chair Frank would be able to attend, or at least know what's going on with that in conversation.
Yeah.
So in regards to your partnership that you're talking about building a YMCA in the city of Yelm, in that area?
The location isn't for sure, it's not certain. I mean, it might be a possibility we would build it here. But that's up to the future conversations, how do you feel about that, how the Y feels about it, where they're at. This conversation's kind of left off years ago, and so I think they finished a project up in, I want to say Shelton or somewhere in that area, Aberdeen maybe. But anyway, I think they're looking for new projects.
Sure.
So
When are you guys?
I think it'd be nice to visit, because I took my kids to the YMCA, and I would absolutely jump on board with this meeting. I don't know if the council's agreeing with that.
I think the YMCA would be beneficial for everybody, yeah, for sure.
And when are you meeting next week?
next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Okay. Could you please let Justine know the time?
Absolutely.
You know what time?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Give it
I
to
will,
Justine.
yeah, I'll get to her though, the information.
Okay, great.
Other partnerships can include Boys and Girls Club, the schools obviously as well. And I think he's gonna, Superintendent Warden's gonna be talking about that later on, our fourth item. But any partnerships we can think of that would be beneficial for the city and for the Nisqually tribe, here's an opportunity to chat about it. If you can think of any council or Nisqually council.
Well, I think for us, we always wanted to have a footprint in Yelm, I think Nisqually, and it's been a great partnership over the years working with the schools, and we have a long way to go still, but, it's a good start. So I think for us, it's really just listening to every idea and thinking about every option to partner or to get our footprint in Yelm, definitely. Okay.
I would just like to acknowledge the partnership, the partnership that YMCA, or Boys and Girls Club, has with a relative tribe of ours, where they provided all the training for the whole team to come together with the city over there as well. So they've done this with other tribes, and, it'd be a really good relationship to start.
Yeah, we can absolutely, and Yelm, we have a great relationship with the Boys and Girls Club. They have a facility in our old city hall that we leased, I think it's for $1 a year or something like that. But it's a great partnership, provides a lot of resources for the children and the students of Yelm, which Nisqually tribe is also, there's a lot of members there that also live inside the city limits and go to our schools, and so it directly benefits them as well. But yeah, we can help foster that relationship as well, and make those introductions, see if
That'd be great.
Absolutely, yeah. We will follow up with that as well. Anything else?
No, I don't know.
Mayor.
Oh, go ahead, Chip. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We have our Nisqually State Parks going on soon, and, we would like to have a partnership with the tourism. That could be a stop in Yelm on their way there. We're planning a little map out from, starting from the water all the way up to the park, so we would love to partner with you guys on that, and I'm not sure how how much you guys are working with the state parks right now, but it would be really good to gather some team members and get that conversation going.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If Hanford was here, he would totally bring that whole subject up and have all of the information at the table and provide it, because it's a partnership, not only with Nisqually tribe, but with the city of Yelm and the state parks to help in working and building those trails and that relationship up there at the state park level itself.
Shay, you do
And
the political version.
It will be a tourism project, but it's a way to recruit all of the young adults and these young teenagers that are gonna be working in this Boys and Girls Club and provide that training and those services to get them employed with that, either with that business or part of that business maybe. Just an opportunity for youth and young adults.
That's great. Yeah.
That's our next one too, is annual event and team building.
Yeah. Do someone have a
Oh,
question over
yes.
here?
I did. Is there a way that we could maybe foster a partnership with our historical museum? And
Yeah, no, I know. Have you guys been in touch with our typical office, Netzie? She's our, does a lot of the historical stuff with the museums, and I know Hanford was talking with you guys too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, she's our
please,
archives
Shay
director.
and Maui, or definitely please get a hold of them also, and they can help you with whatever.
Yes, the parks, that was the old hat I wore. I was chair for a while on that commission. And, we are working and looking for a historian to help tell our story, bringing documents and digitizing them. We would love to, like I said, partner up, have an interpretive center, be able to tell our story even in your guys' museum.
thank you.
Yeah. Terry?
Along the same veins as what you're saying, what you said just triggered a thought of something. One of my passions for Yelm is to create a little more beauty. Yeah, good idea. And we are, sorry, that came off wrong.
It is beautiful.
We have an arts commission that we've just formed, and I hope to be a liaison for that for our council. But one of the things we're talking about is the idea of an arts district in the downtown quarter of Yelm. So there's a big.
Talk to Hanford. He said the same thing.
He did?
Yeah.
But anyway, I would love to see, and here we're talking about maps, walking maps, go here, go there. Definitely, we need something from the tribe that's an art form of some kind to be on that map and maybe for that district.
Yeah,
So,
that would be
that's
great.
cool.
Yeah, good idea. All right, anything else on that subject? Moving on, the annual event, team building. So this was something that was pretty important to you, Chair Frank.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and just kind of talk about this?
We started it, I think it was 2019, we started the discussion with JW of putting on some kind of event, whether it was a walk, and we didn't really know. We were just talking about an event with Nisqually and the city of Yelm partnering together on it to show our unity. And that was a lot of that was going on at that time was a lot of the racial issues, police brutality, and it was more or less to show our unite. I don't think it's been done before, and so it'd be something that would be pretty awesome to see for the Nisqually tribe, just the years of, trials and tribulations a lot of our members have had with the city of Yelm. And, when we have these meetings, some of our elders still look at us like, oh, geez, you guys are gonna go meet with Yelm, but, as you see, we have a very young council here. And we explained that, times have changed and they're gonna keep changing. And, as I said earlier, Yelm's not going anywhere and Nisqually's not going anywhere. So I'm open to any kind of cool event that you guys could think of, and maybe for the summertime. I recommended that maybe we go out to the Shorno, see if we can get a hold of Larry, and if he'd be willing to allow us to have an event at his place where you had the Yelm folks and the Nisqually folks come together. And I don't know what it looks like, maybe a little, I don't want to say carnival because that's I don't want that place to get.
Yeah.
But you can set some stuff up for the kids out there, and you play cornhole. I mean, you can do a lot of things out there. It's such a beautiful piece of property.
Yeah.
When I went out for your fundraiser, Hanford and I and Bob went out there, and I hadn't been out to the Shorno property since I was a kid. And I was like, oh wow, I forgot all about this place out here. So any ideas you guys, council, would be great to hear that.
I think when we had that discussion, it was because JT had asked if there was some kind of, that he could, somehow Yelm could participate with
JW.
canoe, or JW, yeah. So
There's a
he-
JT up there too.
Okay, well. He wanted to know how Yelm could be, you know, kind of included in our canoe journey. If not included, but, you know, contribute to it and participate. And what we ended up talking about was doing a walk that started in Yelm and went down to the water.
Mhm.
And we called it,
I don't, yeah. I
it
don't
was a
remember what it
walking
was.
journey or
Walking
something like
journey,
that.
okay.
Because, you know, you have the canoe journey, but this was something where you included anybody that was willing to participate, and it meant something, like it stood for something. And we talked about doing a design for it, we talked about
I'm so
getting
glad
permits
I'm so
for it.
glad you remember that.
And
Yes.
so, we were talking about this a couple days ago because we were doing discussions on MMIP. So,
And we got Billy Frank Jr. Day coming up.
yeah, we do. We have a lot of events here that we do for our community, for people to come and, you know, see the recognition that we pay towards some of our leaders, and then some of the more important things that that set precedents for us here. So I think when we did talk about that, everybody was on the same page, and we knew that, you know, a walking journey was, you know, where people got together, and we, you know, it stood for, you know, we were gonna talk about it more after that.
Then
And then COVID hit.
So,
So I had a quick question, sorry. Were any of you guys around during the 2016 paddle to Nisqually? Did any of you have involvement?
Joe, you came down.
Yeah, so there were some volunteers from Yelm.
Yeah, we
They
had
participated.
the
We had
bus
a volunteer group
drivers,
come
we
down
had
from Yelm and-
multiple volunteers on this event. We gathered about 10,000 people right on this field over here. That's what we turned this housing development in. This is where all
Harry, I feel like you came down.
all the
for that.
tents,
Yes, I
this
was,
is,
I was gonna
yes,
say,
this is
that
where
was
all
the
the tents and
yeah, that
everything
was
was.
wonderful. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. So we
I
have
also
had
jewelry.
a quick partnership with the city of Yelm during that time. And it would be great to get that back up. What else was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, we used to do the Prairie Days, or I don't remember what it, is it Prairie Days?
Prairie Days,
Yeah, we
yeah.
used to dress up our canoe, put cedar
Floats.
boughs. Yeah, we used to do I know it's COVID and we're not doing that right now, but, you know, we used to do a lot of fun stuff with you
Yeah,
guys.
there you go.
Were you in the parades or anything?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nisqually used to
She was
have
probably in
2
the front.
trailers.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, there was 2 trailers, and they used to line them with cedar, and the kids all jumped on that trailer, lined it, legs hanging out, driving precariously, all kinds of stuff.
We'll start that back up.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's truck
I
bids.
just would like to add, you know, in regards to the partnership with, what Shay's talking about with the canoe journey, we sent letters to just about every business in the city of Yelm requesting donations, and we received a lot. I think Nisqually tribe is the one that received more donations than any tribe ever, because we'd sent letters to the city of Yelm, the city of Lacey, Tumwater, Pierce County, all through Pierce County, and even into King County. And we received a lot of donations. But we also had the volunteer groups. We had 2,000 volunteers came down and volunteered for, not from Yelm, but from all over, from the city of Yelm and Lacey and Olympia, Tumwater, whatnot, and donated their time. They just came and they were just here, and it was just like you said, they loved it. You know, they really, just the songs and the culture, the tradition, and just that piece of heart that everybody felt during that time frame. And that was a partnership that we had with all of the cities, and, it's easy for us to reach out and write letters to these companies and these agencies and partnership with the staffing, it was really a part of the staffing. We had secretaries hand delivering emails, shaking hands and whatnot, and making those letters get out there. I remember doing that because I was one of them. But on top of that, all of that, so one of the things that Shay brought up, and she was talking about the canoe journey and that path, or Willie brought up in that pathway. So the city of Yelm is an old ancestral trail of ours to Mount Rainier. And the city of Yelm, in Nisqually's terms, in Nisqually Lushootseed language, is called Yelm. And he was a sub-chief, and his name is actually on the treaty. His name was Yelm Jim. But I just wanted to acknowledge that. So historically, we've had a relationship with the city of Yelm since treaty times. And it's kind of come, round circle right now. And this is kind of the historical side. And I remember my grandpa telling me stories about riding a buggy up to Yelm, catching a buggy, because it was in our backyard. I really wanted to take off with that thing all the time, but there was no horses, so they were taken away. But, I wanted to share that story with you guys and acknowledge the fact that Yelm is an old trail site, so it really would be good to have that pathway or that walk from Yelm to this area, because we call it the pathways of our ancestors, which you guys are part of as well. So I just wanted to share that little bit of history.
Thank you for sharing that.
If you guys research the name Yelm, I can look it up in our dictionary and share it
Yelm
with
Jim.
everybody.
Look up Yelm Jim.
Yeah, Yelm Jim.
I was wondering how many people knew that.
His name was
I did not know
Yelm.
that.
No,
Yelm.
nobody knew.
Yeah, Grandpa used to call him Yelm.
Am I yellow?
Just
That's
a
what
little
my
bit of
dad used to
history
say.
from my
Yelm.
part.
Yelm.
I'm a language teacher, by the way. Shay's a language teacher here at Nisqually, and we're both sitting on council now, but we're still doing our part of teaching language.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. That was really special. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely look up and if we can include some of the historical significance that our partnerships in the past, we'll start adding it to as we develop different things. As we start putting different kiosks up in the city of Yelm for our trails, we'll add that there to some of the historical partnerships as well.
Well, I want to thank you for putting up the flag your first week in office there. That was pretty
I'll reach out to our
significant.
archives department to get that story and send it to you.
Please,
I'll go down and get some cards so you guys can have my email.
that sounds wonderful. Anything else to think on that?
No, I think we'll just talk more.
You'll have to teach us your traditional greeting.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on that with the Yelm School District. She just got they just got a tribal liaison up there. But we're working on developing a language and creation, a development of a program to teach the school districts and have language in the school districts as well. And Yelm hasn't been on board. They were kind of too late for the grant, but they're still on board with learning the language.
That probably can go right into the next
Good
section
segue.
here.
Superintendent Warren, do you want to go ahead and start some of the priorities with the schools and partnerships that you can talk about?
A couple of things that are already underway is I'd like to invite anyone who wants to come out and tour our new Yelm Middle School. The entrance to the school is
Leanna and Shay and I toured it. Didn't mean to. We were trying to find the gym. They were doing they did the new piece of artwork in the Yelm High School.
The Big Bird?
Yeah, the Big Bird. So Hanford told us it was in the middle school though. So the three of us showed up at the middle school walking around
Found a
looking.
teacher in the parking lot.
Finally somebody
And then got
helped
in the
us,
back
but
door and went.
Maui's like, where are you guys
Roasted
at? They're
school.
waiting for you. So go ahead, sorry.
Well, the entrance to the middle school is a tribute to the tribe. We worked with Hanford and several others to learn about the significance and interrelationship between the mountain, the river, the cedar tree, and prairie grass. And so those elements are built into the entrance to that building with a two-story mural of Mount Rainier. And that's a really neat entrance. And down at our community entrance to the gym, we also have a Yelm historical wall that we worked with the museum on, and lots of pictures from the last 100 years of Yelm. So it's a nice informational piece that we like to show off. I also want to just bring back the collaboration that we did on Southworth Elementary that's underway right now. The entrance to that building introduces our theme of the canoe journey. And so there is a giant mural of Mount Rainier also, but there's a Salish Sea map. And we've placed different pieces throughout the building that visitors would come and go on a journey to find those different places. And many of those are tribal information that we partnered with to bring into the building, and that building will have a center for students with autism, young students with autism. And so some of the canoe journey pieces are sensory in nature, where you can touch, feel the wall or the floor and that kind of thing, and it helps with some of the students with sensory disabilities. It's gonna be a great building. And Hanford told a story when we were in design about how, when he was growing up, Mrs. Southworth would bring kids into the library and read to the students. And so in the library, we have a reading nook that's right above the entrance that is called the Mr. and Mrs. Southworth Reading Nook. And it's an area where they go down a little bit lower, there's padded seats all the way around, and it's just for reading, and there's an informational piece about Mr. and Mrs. Southworth, and it actually includes the speech he gave. It's the transcript of the speech he gave when the original building was dedicated. So it's kind of a neat little
Memorialized in the walls.
historical piece. It's set to open next September. We'll have a grand opening on September 8th. And I would love I want to show that off to folks. It's.
I was one of the first students at that first site.
Really?
Yeah, I remember when they did the grand opening for that.
Yeah.
All the buses were lined up on the Yelm Highway to go into the school.
I'm excited.
It has a bigger bus loop, so we have fewer traffic jams, but it's a fabulous building, and we're really proud of it. What I really wanted to bring forward today was, prior to COVID, and as part of the design work for Yelm Middle School in Southworth, we were working on a flag program for all of our schools, and so our wish is to revisit that conversation, and work with our school board to have Nisqually flags at our schools. We want to continue that discussion about where do we place.
That's good, because I was gonna bring that up and challenge you guys anyway, because North Thurston has the
Heard ya.
flag hanging in all 22 schools, so the challenge now is to get them hung up in Yelm, definitely. And they have a land acknowledgement also throughout the North Thurston school districts where they read some schools do it different. They'll do the land acknowledgement every morning. Some do it before sporting events. It's pretty awesome. And Hanford worked with North Thurston on that. He was a little bit salty he had to do that, but he wanted to. We'll get Yelm going, so it'll be great.
He was working with us too.
Yeah.
on it.
I'm excited. My
It'll be awesome.
6-year-old gets
How
to
many
go
flags do you
next
need?
year.
We have 10 schools.
Okay.
And
We got that. So
and our
whenever you
district
need them.
office.
So 11?
11 total. Whenever you get the approval, let's do it.
Yeah, I've had 2 graduates of Yelm High School last year and the year before. Those were different, 2020 and 2021. But I now have 2 middle school students, and I'll have 2 elementary students next year. So I have to say that going to school in Yelm when I was little has come a long, long way. I didn't go to school all the way up until high school in Yelm, but I went for the first 3 or 4 years in Yelm. And I ended up moving my kids from North Thurston out to Yelm when they were in elementary. And it was such a relevant move, because compared back when my kids were in elementary, compared to North Thurston, the classrooms are way smaller. And so the one-on-one that these kids would get was a lot more focused. And it kind of turned the whole view of how my kids were learning, it turned it over 180, and they excelled after that. So I have to say that I'm proud that I get to be a part of this meeting where we get to talk about things that my kids will be a part of, and all of the other kids we have that come from this community, and then these kids in Yelm that get to know this part of us. So it's that connection and finding that, I guess, just knowing each other. That's what it is. So
It was mentioned earlier, we have a new liaison, just started last week. Her name is Liz Satayakam Quilyut, and is getting to know our processes, doing our grant work right now, but definitely want to help her onboard to the different programs that we can get going. She's aware of our interest in having flags at our schools.
Anything else from schools? Any other partnerships you want to chat about?
We're working extremely hard to come out of COVID, and it's been rocky. It's been hard on the kids, but we're getting there.
That's good. I think everybody's ready. Everybody's to get back to.
Yeah, we just had a complaint from a tribal member who wanted to play basketball with the teams, and they just been on restriction, and our kids are just, they just want to get, my kids are doing anything to stay in school. They're like, Grandma, we'll make up our grades. If we get a bad grade, it's okay. We're not gonna stay home and do school at home. I got straight A students, grandkids at home right now, so because they don't want to stay home and do schooling at home, so. It caused a lot of stress and a lot of stress management, and these partnerships is gonna be really huge, for everybody together with, the partnership with the volunteer, or the tourism project, and even this, what was the other one, Shay? Canoe Journey. And some of the things that we did here was with that ropes course, and we brought those kids together, and the kids just went down to the ball field down at the, by the youth center, and
It's an obstacle course, right?
it was an obstacle course, and it was just the best outdoor
Maybe you
event.
should do that just for the councils. To do some team building on the obstacle, that's team building right there, maybe.
Let's do it.
I said, did you guys not hear me say youth?
Sispus, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
But it is a part of stress relief, just that little piece of coming together, and our uncle used to always say, laughter is the best medicine, and whenever people laugh at it, he said, I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you, so.
Well, is there any other closing comments from either council then, before we kind of give our final remarks here?
I just want to say it's a real honor to be here. I really mean that, so thank you.
It's not just for the tea and the.
Oh, this is. Man, Richard, man, got some special candies in here. He said, be careful, there's nerds in there.
Yeah.
I have one more thing I'd like to say. My son, he actually went to Southworth Elementary, kindergarten and first grade. He loved it and got all the attention he needed. But I noticed that when we have our own kids there, tribal kids, we have a bigger tribal presence, like within the, what are they called? Those things they do in the gym, I forgot what they're called. Assemblies. So when we had assemblies and stuff, we would bring storytellers out. We would bring our songs out on the floor, especially during Native American Heritage Month. We would make it a point to be there for our kids. So I would like to keep that going, especially for all the kids, not just the Native kids.
That's kind of what, I forgot, I did have that on here, for the, what was your position again? Superintendent, right? So, one of the things that, I did when I was teaching language up in Puyallup, at the Puyallup, the Chief Fleshite School for, I don't know how many years, we did a culture day. And when we did culture day, we invited other school districts. And we ended up, we invited the Puyallup School District, and they came and participated. And then it kind of turned into the whole Tacoma School District, and they came to Chief Fleshite Schools, but they brought their kids to each culture day. And it was a part of a program that just kind of blossomed into this big, huge event. But it was something that, the kids, not only the kids, but the teachers, but the kids got to teach part of their culture, and it made them very proud. So that's something that Shay's talking about is, those kids, they don't get acknowledged, they don't get recognized. When they grow up learning songs and stories and culture and tradition, they grow up learning that fishing, gooey duck diving, whatnot. It's a part of, it's what we call a way of life, and they just need to get recognized and acknowledged for that. So part of that was some of, we were trying to work into like a credit retrieval program for kids that learn language, for kids that know culture and go out and teach culture. So just wanted to put that in the air and kind of talk to OSPI about it as well. So I think it's kind of coming to the table.
As you do that, I would encourage you to also look at the seal of biliteracy. in that conversation where students can earn credit for learning language that's not taught in the school at that time.
What's it called?
Seal of biliteracy.
We have a program right now, and we are certifying 10 language teachers from the tribe. And after that certification goes, we have a government to government with the state, and they will be certified to teach in schools. So that will be coming up too. If ever you want some of the native students to learn their language in the school district, that'll be an option pretty soon.
Excellent program. We'd really like that.
Yeah.
We would really like that.
I think one of the things that we talked about with Hanford, when we talked about CISVIS, we also talked about the different camps that happen throughout the year, seasonal, and what could be taught to youth in that time frame. Because around here it is seasonal. You know, we fish, it's seasonal. We go duck, it's seasonal. And when we harvest, it's seasonal. So part of what we talked about was the credit retrieval was getting not just our own Nisqually youth to use our programs for credit retrieval, but for these kids that are not from this community to step into this community and see the way of life, the way of harvesting, and kind of the traditions. And in partaking in that, they earn credit retrieval from, you know, their teachers going, you know, this is a great program for you, you should try this. You know, it gets you into a different culture, and you get to see the inside view of it. But that was a discussion that we had, and that was last year. Because after these kids had stayed home for so long, a lot of them were looking at, okay, how do they make up credits? Because some of them just didn't make it through the whole, you know, home for months on end deal. So we were trying to figure out how to get these kids involved. And when we started talking about our own kids, that discussion came up of, our kids are not the only ones that need to learn this. Because if you want kids to appreciate, or not appreciate, but acknowledge where they live and who they live with and who, you know, just the culture around them, it's teaching them from a young age all the way up until they have the ability to partake in that through programs and actually use it towards schooling. So, you know, maybe they're referred here and these programs are helpful and they learn from it and they get credits, so.
I have an idea if I may.
Yeah.
Hey Jack, so Yelm has a large homeschool base as well. And now we're a homeschooling family, myself, and so we take trips out. So it'd be great if you guys would put something
Almost like a
together
field
for the
trip, kind of,
homeschool,
for the
yeah.
homeschool seats, okay.
For the homeschool groups to come out and learn and see, you know, what life is like here and, you know, historical and all that fun stuff.
If our history teacher was here today, Hanford.
Yeah, maybe all over.
Yeah, well, no, really, but hearing that, I think that's a great idea. We, you know, and I'm not trying to do this on purpose, but North Thurston, we were able to bring out 70 teachers on a Teachers Appreciation Day, or the professional day. And we took them out to the Culture Center, and we spent 3 or 4 hours with them. And we had like 5 different stations set up with the teachers and the administration, just educating them. I think Shay was playing bingo in our language with some. I know Hanford took people on walks. Dave and his wife were doing traditional medicine, and then they were beading. It was pretty awesome. So, you know, even seeing something like that, you know, even having you guys do something like that would be good. You know, any kind of cultural sensitivity trainings even.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe that's something we can help you guys with too on our end, just from
And actually,
native
that's kind of what the
perspective, you know?
Culture Day turned into, was when Gallup School District brought their kids there and they seen the students teaching the other kids their activities, then they thought, well, if this child can teach this activity, then maybe these teachers can teach this activity. So we kind of overwhelmed ourselves with that whole process, but we did language during the day and then culture after school. And then the Gallup School District contracted with Teresa and I to teach their teachers culture and language at their school, which was a long day. It was like 10-hour days during that like 10-week program. But it really helped. It really helped the Gallup School District to teach language and culture at their school district.
Yeah, I think we have multiple programs here that can contribute to education for youth. Because all it is taking, you know, the things that we do day to day and putting it in a educational capacity so that, you know, you kind of short and sweet it so that these kids can actually, you know, and then part of it is hands-on. Like if you wanted to teach these kids about our horse program, you'd have to take them out there and they'd have to see how that whole program works. And, you know, if you wanted to do water quality testing with them, you'd have to go out and,
on the
and
field.
show them how all of that happens, so.
That'd be cool.
Do you guys ever do like open houses for the public where we can just come and look at your buildings and?
No,
Not
but
at
that's
the
a
moment.
great, that's a great idea though, actually, no, I mean, this helped, like, you guys see this beautiful facility. You know, we weren't able to have a grand opening and we were gonna, you know, we'd invite, of course, all of you folks from Yelm and other city and state officials, but, you know, we're hoping maybe in the summer we can still do a big grand opening of this building to give you guys all a tour and see everything that we have.
We
You guys
drive
look
down the
like we got a
highway a
sneak
million
peek.
times a day
I know.
and we never come a block
No,
in and see
and
any
then
of
so I
this.
think, you know, this is the start of that relationship, really, of you guys, you know, feeling, you know, when we go and talk to the kids, we talk to whether it's the teachers, whether it's, you know, other professionals, we always tell them there's no bad question, you know, or no wrong question, because we know at times people feel a little bit hesitant, you know, asking or being, you know, around, tribal folks at times. We see it in the schools all the time. And we always laugh and kind of just break the ice and, you know, we're here to help. You know, we're here to teach, to educate, and learn about Yelm too. I mean, you know, we're all here together, so I think anything moving forward, I like that open house idea though.
Okay.
Anything else? Just, again, thank you so much for hosting us. This is wonderful. The food was wonderful. The facility is amazing. For the folks that can't see it, inside they have live plants and trees, and it's just beautiful.
You guys can take videos if you guys want, though, just to show it off a little bit, just to show it
We
off.
may never leave.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous here. But this has been a very productive meeting, though. I think we've got some hard partnerships we can get to right away, we can start on. Others that are gonna take some more development, but we started the conversations and we'll get the ball rolling on those. But all in all, I think this, in general, this is very much needed. I know you said, you know, we had some bad blood in the past and there's been, you know, we haven't had the best relationships in the past. But it's it, you chair, you mayor, you councils, and, you know, moving forward, I think we can really repair that and enhance that relationship.
I think so too. Oh, yes, Deb, we gave them all a copy. They're gonna take some back also. But can we do a picture? I mean, we can adjourn and do a picture with the councils though.
Absolutely. All right, well, I guess that's it then. We'll adjourn. Thank you so much for watching. You want to go ahead and cut the feed.
Thank you.